Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders Online, and today we're going to tackle the controversial subject of working from home, telecommuting if you like, and co-working. This is following the controversial comments from Yahoo's American boss, who has decided to ban it because she reckons people don't work hard enough. We'll see how you can do it properly. Also, how to improve your customer service and boost your bottom line with great tips from Boost Juice founder Janine Alice. But first, to news you can use, and the Australian Scholarships Trust has come up with a survey that predicts the cost of higher education could rise by as much as 50% over the next 10 years. The cost of training is going to go through the roof. That becomes a real challenge for small business owners. How to train your staff cost effectively, to look at different alternatives. It might be tech courses, or it might be private tuition with some separate training companies. But while we've got to improve the skills of our staff, we do need to watch the bottom line going forward. Well, we've all heard about the controversy sparked by Marissa Hayer, the American boss of Yahoo, who claims people working from home don't communicate properly with each other or generate enough good ideas. In fact, she's actually banned the system from Yahoo, which is pretty controversial considering she is the poster mum of the American executive ranks. She was seen as breaking through the glass ceiling and bringing more flexibility to working mums. In fact, she's gone the other way. So how do you make it work for you if you do have a business that uses lots of telecommuting staff?
Joining me today is co-founder of Hub Adelaide and Sydney, Caroline McLaren, and Posable co-founder Alan Crabb. So Caroline, in light of all the controversy about Yahoo banning teleworking, what sort of strategies can small businesses put in place to ensure that their teleworkers maintain that communication and ideas sharing culture?
For me, it's a combination of understanding what the task is at hand and understanding that the space that people need to work from can be varied. That personally, I don't think that banning teleworking outright is the solution, but I can understand that when the mandate is that the company needs to innovate, that teleworking isn't a great option for that. That, you know, for alone activities, teleworking can be immensely useful. Whereas when we're really looking for great new collaborative and innovative ideas, it's about bringing people together. Going forward, I think one of the solutions will be having co-working locations close to people's homes so that they can essentially telework and not be in their normal office, but still have that flexibility with their work and be working with peers that can help them to collaborate and innovate.
So Caroline, how can businesses with employees working from home maintain their task orientation?
If company owners feel like they have to watch over the shoulders of their employees to make them work, then I think it's probably the wrong circumstances to start with. Like there's a great new website called elance.com where you could outsource something, and every 10 minutes it takes a screenshot of what the person's doing, and the person can tell you, put a little note in to tell you what they've been doing. That kind of environment, though, isn't the environment that engages creativity and innovation. Daniel Pink's done some great research around motivating people, knowledge workers, to really produce great outcomes, and cash and people overlooking your shoulders aren't the factors that do that. So yeah, in terms of motivating people, I think it's about having a shared vision and a shared purpose.
So Alan, as a small business with workforce in a couple of different cities, what sort of processes do you have in place?
I think we try to put in some sort of measures and give people the autonomy and allow them to take ownership of certain projects or certain roles. I think this is important if people are teleworking, so that they do have something, they have a goal or something that they have to achieve, and to keep them motivated. And I suppose in some ways co-working allows, gives people an environment, you know, that they have they can get, I suppose they get ideas and possibly collaborate with other people on their own projects. So for us, we look at, I suppose, setting targets and measures around tasks, but for them, they have to work out how they achieve their goals themselves. So operationally, it can be quite difficult, but I think having some sort of structure around it works okay.
Now, Alan touched on co-working there, Caroline. What exactly is that and how does it work?
So co-working essentially is individuals coming into a shared space with their own devices and working on their own projects, but in an environment that enables people to connect and have opportunities for them to learn from one another.
Now, Caroline, it's traditionally been the domain of startups and smaller businesses, but it seems there's been a trend of medium and larger businesses to embrace the co-working platform as well. Why is this? What sort of big advantages are there?
Larger businesses often don't have the environment in which that they can truly be innovative or creative. We talk about people going into their, grey bleak desk and expecting to come up with really great innovative ideas. The co-working spaces create a really great space to work. There's plants, there's natural light, there's fresh air, and that alone starts to get some creative ideas flowing and just being away from the home office. So yeah, the CEO of Deloitte Digital comes in to the space because he wants to have an environment in which he can just be creative and know that that's his creative space. It's also an opportunity to connect with people who are doing truly innovative things. That we know that when people are starting up businesses, they often look for scrappy kind of solutions, and often those can be great solutions that can be applied to a larger business as well.
And Alan, what's your experience there?
We're putting out a lot of news, a lot of, information that we want to get out to the public, and that has to spread through some sort of forum or community. And I think the likes of co-working spaces allows you to push out that information through their networks, which is very valuable. For us, there's also the fact of getting potential clients from these co-working spaces or being referred to clients as well.
Right, and what about the financial side of things? How do they stack up?
There's no sign-up fees on a month-to-month basis. You choose what kind of membership you'll have that month, and that can be anything from just choosing to come in a couple of days that month, a couple of days per week, or even having a full-time fixed desk. And yeah, so we're talking about $100 per month if you just want a couple of days, all the way through to $600 per month if you want a full-time fixed desk. This is yours with a swipe card, knowing that you can come in whenever you like and leave all your stuff there.
And Caroline, what's the uptake been like of co-working spaces?
Some people say co-working started eons ago. Most people say that it started in about 2006. And since then, it's been kind of an exponential growth. In those last 7 years, there's now 2,000 co-working spaces globally.
And what about within Australia?
So at Hub Melbourne, we opened 2 years ago and we now have 700 members. So last year at this time we had 350 members, so essentially the membership community has doubled, which has been pretty impressive.
Well, everyone wants to be their own boss. Coming up, how to start your own business and make it grow into a moneymaker.
This is an iconic business in northeastern Tasmania which grows true French lavender, fine oil production and tourism. For us, it's so important to have a website which has got spontaneity and vitality. We're changing daily as a business and we need to communicate that to our customer base.
KBB Webinar Box is really good because I'm not tech savvy whatsoever, so it's really simple to use. It's got a lot of help functions there if you ever get stuck. It's really easy to maintain and it just works.
To start your free trial today, go to kbbinabox.com.au. Everybody has a great idea to build a business empire to make them rich. So many people do nothing about it. Those that do also run the risk of a high rate of failure. One way you can reduce those risks is joining a business incubator. Now, many of them are run by business enterprise centres, which are a great starting point for anyone wanting to start a new business. David Baumgarten is one of the leading executives of BCs, and we caught up with him and one of his star incubation pupils' musical functions.
All right, David, take us through incubation. What is it?
Incubation is similar to infancy. You're in that micro-business stage. You're at that stage where you want to gather the information. There you're incubating. Where do you get this information? How do you put it into practice?
Okay, so it's like going to if you like, a business library or a business advice centre that says, okay, where are you up to?
Yep.
Talk your issues through and point them in the right direction.
Exactly. It's up to you to drive the process, and your facilitator of that incubation process will actually draw some questions out of you. And then between you, you'll ascertain what information you require, because there's a lot of information out there in the marketplace, but it's most important that you get a handle on that information.
Okay, so do you take on anybody, or are there particular businesses that you look for and people you look for that it works best for?
But they've really got to have the fire in the belly, as I call it. They've got to have the determination to make it work. A lot of people come to us and they're basically just information grabbers, not sure what to do with it, but the true entrepreneur, the true person that really can take that information, they're the people that we want. The stayers, they know where they're going, they know the goalposts, and they know what the information is going to impact on their business.
Now, Jeremy's obviously a runner. We'll get to your business in a sec, Jeremy, but just take us through the process that you offer Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy came to us with an idea. He had the industry skills, he lacked the business skills. He came to us, he pitched his idea to us. We looked at it, we made him go through and write down the key points to it so that we could understand it. We put him through a 12-week business training course, and then that fleshed the idea out even more. He was challenged, he had an understanding and who his market was, who his competitors were, now that was really important, and how also to price his product out there in the market. Now when he finished, we then put him in front of an independent panel made up of business people, and then he had to pitch his idea to them.
Wow, Jeremy, that's a pretty daunting process to go through. First of all, tell us about your business and how you found the process.
Sure. So my business is called Musical Functions, and I organise a premium service of wedding musicians to perform in Sydney.
That's fantastic. Now, how did you find the 12-week training course and then having to front this panel?
They make a big deal out of it. They honestly do. But I found that the training program was something that whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. There's quality training, quality teaching, awesome structure. And if you've listened, if you've done the work, you go and you sit in front of a panel and they ask you about your business, well, the answers are there. You don't need to think you've done all the work, so it's there.
Right, okay. So David, tell us about the resources that it brings, the programs available.
Okay, there's a lot of programs out there, like the program that Jeremy was on, which was the New Enterprise Incentive Scheme. You'll find that there's a National Niece Association. Go have a look at that website. They will tell you where all the programs are being run right throughout Australia. The incubation, if you want to look at the incubation process in actual physical premises, go to the National Incubator Association. Again, they will tell you where that information is. Again, if you're after the self-paced to tap into resources, go have a look at BEC Australia's website, and they will then point you into the local BECs.
Any cash involved? Any cash
David, no cash. Look, there are programs dollar for dollar for respective state governments. Like the program that Jeremy was on, he gets income support for 12 months. But if you're looking for a handout, you're not going to get it because you've got to be able to drive this process, and there are programs out there that will help you.
River Life and Tanga Tours is an adventure company based on the banks of the Brisbane River, owned by a bloke called John Sharp. It's been a terrific success story, but as the business grows, he worries about maintaining that great culture of a smaller company and that great customer service. How do you maintain those service levels as the business grows bigger? Well, I sent in the founder of Boost Juice, Janine Alice, to give John some tips along the way.
It goes to the type of people you hire. If you have people that genuinely like people and genuinely interested in people, you're not going to have a problem. Most of your complaints and most of the things that go wrong will be people who either don't really have the care factor to actually get it right. So it's really just hiring the right people. And then the customer experience will come from those type of people. I think it's important that you always get feedback at the end of the trip, because that should be your mantra of how you actually improve. Along the journey is just be interesting and interested. You know, hear what they have to say. So you might have in your area a system where halfway through that instructor or leader has to go and check how everyone's going. Is there anything else we can do? Because quite often you'd be surprised that people don't like to say, oh look, I'm actually really uncomfortable or I'm really struggling. They suffer in silence. So maybe part of your system is that they have to do that halfway. So it's a bit of a combination of the right people, but then the right structure around them to get the benefit.
Look, another issue that we have is we don't get a lot of negative feedback. So when we do, sometimes the staff, they just really freak out. It's like they're really disappointed. And Sometimes it's no more than the customer's expectation is completely different than the product we're delivering anyway.
Yep.
So I want to find the balance between having my staff caring when they do get negative feedback and also not having them freak out as a result.
The first thing people shouldn't do when they get negative feedback is actually be defensive, because the first thing they say is, that's not what happened, I was there. And in actual fact is seeing a negative feedback as a huge positive. Now, we have a system in Boost and Salsas where when people complain within 24 hours, we will reply. And because people, for whatever reason, it may be your fault, may not be your fault, but it doesn't matter. Their perception is that they had a negative experience with you. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. So for us, it is when that negative feedback comes in, we see as a challenge. By the time we finish communicating with them, we're going to have them turned around, they're going to be huge raving fans. Don't care who's right or wrong, don't even care. So first thing you do is reply really quickly. We are really sorry you had a bad experience, because they did, or they wouldn't be complaining. Then you do, we'll fix it. So you go, sorry, we'll fix it, and then please let us know if it happens again, because your feedback's really valuable. Fixing it, be generous. Give them another trip for free. Give them and their partner another trip for free. It doesn't really matter. Yes, it might cost you a bit, but their raving fan feedback to other people be worth that 10 times.
Yeah.
So I think the key thing is to your team is see it as a positive. Thank goodness they told you, because if not, they were going to tell 10 friends.
Well, time to start answering some of your questions that we received via the website, Facebook, Twitter. Keep them coming. This one from Kylie on email. I'm having trouble retaining good staff at my retail shop. What can I do to keep them without increasing my wage bill? Well, Kylie, it's all about producing a working environment that fits in with your staff. My sister runs a little shop and has had very similar issues to you. It takes a while to get good staff, but once you've got a good team, you have to work out on what they want from you. Not necessarily what they want financially, but other things. A good work environment, a happy place to work, that they feel part of the team. Be open about your business. When you're doing well, celebrate it with them. When you're doing it tough, let them know, so they get a bit of a buy-in into the shop and take a sense of ownership themselves. A lot of staff love professional development, that you can fund them doing a local training course, or for them to go to a seminar or a conference that's going to improve your skills. You're going to get the benefit of it, and they will feel loved by you because they think, wow, they're investing in me. I've got a future with this organisation. Also set up incentives, set targets for your customers as well, and sometimes make them fun. I knew a guy who ran a cafe next door to our previous premises, and he used to have weekly contests of how many Danishes could be cross-sold with a cappuccino every week, or how many Greek salads could be sold at lunch, and all the staff are on an incentive, and the winner, the staff member of the week, got to go to the movies with their partner, or he paid for them to go to dinner. So it's a good way of mixing the work environment up, making it fun, and also having a reward for them at the end. So there are a couple of good tips. That's all we have time for this episode of the show. We'll catch you next time.